Back in 2017, when I started TLDR in my university bedroom, I had a clear idea of what I wanted this project to be. I wanted to make news content for people like me, those with an interest and a mind for politics, but who felt shut out from mainstream political conversations, baffled by the discourse and confusing language that so often surrounds geopolitics and economics. I also wanted our content to be as neutral as it could be, allowing people like me to forge their own opinions based on facts, rather than just doing what they're told by friends or family. Nearly 9 years later, TLDR is far bigger than I imagined back then, with a wonderful team of passionate people who work every day to ensure that this vision continues to come to life. A vision we still live by here at TLDR. For a while now, we've been discussing how we can codify that vision, how we can make it clear to you, ourselves, and future members of the TLDR team what we believe in and how we want to act. So a couple of years ago, we started discussing what we jokingly called the TLDR Manifesto, an outline of what we believe in and how we plan to operate. And today, I'm happy to present that to you. Everything from the rules that bind our journalism, ownership, and sponsors to our AI policy. Also, stick around, because at the end of the video, there's an exclusive announcement for the biggest TLDR fans. I don't have time, and you don't have patience, for me to read through everything in the manifesto. So if you want to read the full document, you can find it at tldrnews.co.uk/manifesto. But if you don't want to type that in, it's also linked in the description. And it will also be linked in the description of every one of our videos going forwards. Firstly though, our core values. TLDR is an independent news organisation dedicated to delivering objective, fact-based reporting. Our goal is to strip away partisan rhetoric and provide clear, apolitical explainers which allow our audience to better understand the complex global events that shape their world. Since TLDR's founding in 2017, we've believed in upholding rigorous standards for our content, often exceeding the expectations and benchmarks set by others in the digital media industry. We believe that being YouTube native is not an excuse for lower standards. Instead, we see it as an opportunity to redefine journalistic expectations for a new generation. Next, we believe that the owner of a news organisation determines what stories they're allowed to tell. In an era of media consolidation, we've made an intentional decision to stay 100% independently owned. By maintaining total ownership, we protect the essential freedoms required to report on the news without fear or favour. Our independence creates a firewall between our reporting and the pressures of the modern media landscape. Because we answer to our audience rather than to a corporate boardroom, venture capital firm, or billionaire parent company, we're never forced to compromise for the sake of a corporate agenda. As such, TLDR continues to be solely owned by me, the company's CEO and founder. While I have no plans to sell any stake in the company to anyone externally, our manifesto sets out clear mechanisms for communicating that with you if we were to in the future. On the topic of transparency, in Section 5, we commit to continuing our tradition of sharing our company's finances at least once per year, something that we've done for a while now, as well as continuing with our tradition of responding to your criticisms in our annual Why You Hate Us video. That's not the official title of those videos, it's just how I choose to internalize it. Anyway, when it comes to our normal content, Section 3 sets out our editorial standards, where we say, we believe that for news to be trustworthy, it must be produced free from the influence of those we cover or who fund us. At TLDR, we maintain absolute editorial control over every second of our content. To protect this independence, we uphold 4 non-negotiable pillars. Those being content autonomy, the fact that only our internal editorial team determines the topics we cover and the scripts we write, and no outside entity, whether platform, sponsor, or government, has the right to dictate, review, or veto our reporting. In fact, we even dive into how we choose video topics and what happens if our team members have conflicts of interest that could undermine our editorial independence. The next pillar is our sponsor firewall. Essentially, our commitment that sponsorship doesn't buy any company access to our editorial decision-making, and that our sponsors will never have control over any element of our videos other than the actual sponsored segment where we discuss their product. The third pillar is our unconditional interviews policy, which lays out that we will not give the subject of our interviews control over our questioning or the content itself, nor early access to the questions. And the final pillar is our principle of neutrality, with this section outlining how team members ought to ensure that our content is as neutral as it can be. Those pillars are designed to ensure that we hedge against anything ever going wrong. But as we say in Section 4, that's not always going to happen. Quote, as an independent news brand, we know that trust is our most valuable asset. However, despite our desire for perfection, we are a human organization, and as such, in a fast-paced world, errors will inevitably occur. However, we believe that we aren't defined by our attempts towards perfection, but by our courage to be honest when we fail. As such, this section goes on to outline our entire review process from beginning to end, and goes through our numerous separate checks to make sure we get videos right. When mistakes do still get through, section 4.4 outlines our open correction policy. Essentially, if we do get something wrong, we'll admit to it openly. We believe that quietly changing the facts or quickly deleting a video without explanation is a clear breach of your trust. As such, if a major error is made, which results in a video being fundamentally misleading or inaccurate, we will immediately unlist that video to ensure that it doesn't reach anyone new. We'll then post about it to the YouTube community tab explaining the error and linking to the original video for posterity. We will then, in some instances, work to recreate the video, fixing all the errors we made first time round. And when we repost that video, we'll make sure to include a pinned comment to the original, as well as discussing it fully on the next episode of our podcast, The Editorial. If the error is more minor though, we will immediately post a pinned comment correcting the mistake, as well as an on-screen correction using YouTube's system, as well as, of course, discussing it on the editorial. Ultimately, our commitment is to the facts, not to our public image or reputation. By being transparent about our process and our mistakes, we hope to earn the trust you place in us every time you click on one of our videos. Now, I'm sure some of you are interested in our thoughts on AI. So in section 6, we outline our AI policy. Essentially, we believe that the best reporting is done by passionate journalists driven by a desire to uncover the truth and share the world with our audience. We also believe that the best videos are produced by creative and engaged animators and editors who work closely with our journalists to ensure accuracy and clarity. Both of these tasks require humanity and understanding beyond the levels AI systems are capable of. While humans will inevitably make mistakes, we're able to probe human decision-making, workflows, and behavior in a way that's simply not possible with black box AI systems. As such, TLDR will not use AI to write scripts or articles, generate any photos or videos used within our content, generate music or audio, or generate synthetic voiceovers or host videos. We will also continue to purchase all of our footage from reputable sources that allow us to filter out AI content, and when necessary in the future, we'll train our editors and animators to spot and avoid AI content. There are a few exceptions to this though. For instance, we do permit our staff to use non-generative AI tools within the Adobe suite, things like the Select tool in Photoshop, as well as using AI transcription tools in Slack and Zoom, and using AI when looking for additional sources on a topic. Although the AI itself may never be a source, it can only be used when trying to identify new, credible third-party sources. Finally, when it comes to finances, we have section 7. As mentioned previously, we view our sponsors as partners towards our broader mission, but they're in no way directors of our content. To ensure that our commercial interest never compromises our reporting, we adhere to the following principles. Firstly, we'll only work with sponsors which align with our values, hence our long list of outlawed industries. Second, we limit sponsors to only have voice over their sponsored segment and not the video itself. Thirdly, we commit to fully disclosing any grants or funding that we receive from any outside source, regardless of its purpose. And finally, we make it very clear that our voice is not for sale. No amount of money can buy access to our editorial process or influence our tone. We do not participate in pay-to-play journalism. Then there are a couple of other additional sections on platforms, employee standards, and updates, and you can pause to see those now or head to tldrnews.co.uk/manifesto to see the full document. If you believe in this vision for TLDR, our plan for how news ought to be, then you might want to become a member of the TLDR party. And no, it's not a real political party, but this also isn't a real manifesto. We're just having a bit of fun here. Now, becoming a party member comes with a whole host of benefits that I'll run through in a moment. But the most important thing is that it helps fund this vision. Doing news properly isn't cheap, and protecting ourselves against corporate and political interests is even more expensive. That's why what's really for sale here is our vision and these values. We'd rather sell ourselves to people who believe in us, people who are happy to fund this kind of journalism, rather than selling out and selling our values to some corporate or political interest. And you do actually get stuff for being a party member too, not just these highfalutin visions of news purity. Firstly, party members get access to Too Long documentaries, a new strand of more premium videos that we're working on at the moment to dive into a whole variety of different topics. These are roughly monthly, more experimental videos which push our journalism and content creation to a new level, and test what we're really made of. The first series is coming out very soon, and will see us looking into the world's most influential people, but we also have bigger plans beyond that. We're currently discussing a documentary series which will see us head to Greenland to talk about what the big deal is with the country and why Trump is so interested in it. There's more information about that documentary linked in the description, but the series will be exclusively available for TLDR party members. Party members also get access to the audio version of every article in our magazine Too Long. For a long time, we've had people ask if they can listen to Too Long. So now you can, with our journalists recording their own articles and party members able to listen to everything inside the latest issue. Party members can also hear more about what we're up to via The Bullpen, our monthly behind-the-scenes podcast where we discuss the latest goings-on at TLDR and reveal things we never do in main videos. We can talk about anything in that show, but the only rule is that we never record in the same place twice. That's why we've recorded an episode at the top of a mountain in South Korea, a pedalo in the middle of a lake, a beer garden in Berlin, a cable car across the Thames, on the roof of our building, or while putting a Christmas tree up. Party members can also watch the extended version of our podcast, The World Leader Leaderboard, including our new bonus section, The Last Move. Now, we'll explain how all of that works over on the World Leader Leaderboard, but regular viewers won't want to miss it. Party members also get their names featured on the final page of every issue of Too Long, as a permanent reminder of the people who support TLDR. If all of that sounds good to you, then you can join the TLDR party at toolong.news/party, or by clicking the link in the description. Membership costs £4 a month, and you likely know that we also offer subscriptions to our magazine Too Long, so if you prefer to sign up for both in one go, doing so costs $22.99 per issue of Too Long, so once a quarter, making it actually the cheapest way to get party membership. Regardless, I hope you consider joining the TLDR party. We've made great progress over the last year of improving the company's profitability and making TLDR viable longer term. But if you want to help even further, then this is the best way to do it, as subscribing really helps to offer us long-term financial security that we can truly rely on. Anyway, as always, thanks for watching, and thank you for being interested in what we're up to at TLDR.